Look, 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 look. What an authentic delight. A delicious tomato soup that you're going to love. Hello, what do I have here? Well, a tomato. And this gives me the inspiration to prepare an amazing dish. If you've never tried it before, I recommend you make it. A simple tomato soup. If you play your cards right and add the necessary touches, it becomes one of your favorite dishes. So I won't keep rambling and I'll tell you how it's made. First, peel the tomatoes. A tricky task. So what we're going to do is a little trick. See this cross I've cut on top? Well, I'm going to do the same with each of the tomatoes. And then I'm going to put them in a pot, which I'm going to heat with water over medium-high heat. And thanks to that heat they're going to get, they'll almost peel themselves. So all you have to do is wait a few minutes and practically before the water boils, they'll already look like this. It's not that the skin just runs off and escapes straight into the trash bag, but almost. Look, I'll show you up close. They're almost peeled already, and it comes off in half a second. Look, you take the tomato, I'll show you up close, and that's how easily you remove the skin. This is essential if you want to peel tomatoes efficiently. Then, what you'll do with each of them is simply remove this excess skin. There it is. Remove the stem, which is always tough. And we don't care about that. I have it around here. Let's see if we can see it clearly. There it is. Take it out and cut the tomato into cubes. That way it will cook faster. We save the water from boiling the tomatoes because we're going to use it later. On the other hand, we're going to chop some ingredients. I start with a carrot, which I cut into strips like this, and this one too. And then we're going to chop those strips, so that we get small cubes. Come on, one after another until we have it all finely chopped. After the carrot, we move on to the onion, and the process will be the same. One finely chopped onion. So we make strips and then cut the strips as well, so we also get very small cubes. Now, 2 or 3 cloves of garlic. Operation. You can probably imagine it's going to be similar to the previous ones. We cut strips and chop them as well. Now we take a pot. In it, we're going to add a splash of oil, a good amount, and we're going to put it over medium or medium-high heat. Once it's a bit warm, we add the garlic. Once it's in here, we're going to stir it around a bit so it starts to brown. See how it's sizzling? And we also add the onion, the one we diced earlier. That's perfect. We're going to stir it around and let it cook. But before that, we add the carrot. And, as I said, let it cook. We'll stir it every so often for at least 4 or 5 minutes. The goal is for the onion to change color a bit and get a little softer. To help with that, adding a bit of salt speeds up the process. And if we finish a bit sooner, even better. Add a pinch of salt and stir. Once they're soft, we add the tomato, the one we peeled and chopped earlier. All of it goes in, along with its juice. Here, we can add flavor with spices. My advice is to add a teaspoon of rosemary, another teaspoon of thyme, 1 of paprika, and pepper. Here, it's freshly ground black pepper, which always brings a lot of joy. And, of course, we keep adjusting the salt to your personal taste. If you like it very salty, add a lot. If you prefer it less salty, add just a little. That's up to you. Stir it and cook until it has a fairly dry texture. See, we've got it now. Now we transfer it to a pitcher for your blender. Or, if not, you'll have to really work it with a hand blender. I'm using a handheld mini stick blender, also known as a pitcher-style blender for this task. We turn it on, set it to medium power, and really blend it until it's super smooth. When it's a completely creamy texture with no lumps at all, we add water until it reaches 1.5 liters. As you can see, I used the water from boiling the tomatoes themselves, which picks up some flavor and gives it an extra boost of taste. So you put the lid on and turn the machine back on, so the water mixes in as well and the mixture is ready. That's what we're looking for, like a soup. All you have to do now is put it back in the pot, because you're going to give it the final touch so the water mixes in well. So we cook for 4 or 5 more minutes on medium-high heat, and that's it. Let it bubble a little, and all the flavors will blend together perfectly. Now you can serve this real wonder, a tomato soup with real tomato flavor, tomato, and with those touches we've added. A true delight that, if you try, you'll crave more. Also, you can give it an extra touch with a bit of crispy bread on top to add that contrast. And a few parsley leaves to make it a bit more aromatic. Although it also goes really well with beef. Look, 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 look. Who wants the next little bowl? Here you catch me enjoying a real wonder, a delicious and surprising tomato soup. As always, here I leave you the list with ingredients and exact quantities, so you can make it at home and enjoy it to the fullest. Once you try this, you'll want seconds. Also, let me take this chance to ask you a quick question. What's your favorite soup? I'm sure we'll all be really surprised. Also, I have a ton of ideas on the channel, so I recommend you check out previous videos and look for your next favorite recipe. But if what you're looking for are sweet recipes, you already know Golosolandia, my channel for sweet recipes, with hundreds of ideas that I'm sure you'll love too.